Disney is a company directed solely and completely at the production of safe and innocent magic for children. I'm so annoyed by this, irritated by this, because yes, I grew up on Disney, because everyone grows up on Disney. My kids grew up on Disney. I love taking my kids to Disney World, but I swear to God, if these assholes decide that they are going to indoctrinate my kids in their left-wing values via their movies, I will never watch their movies. I will never take my kids. My kids will live a perfectly happy life like millions of people, billions of people all over the world have, never having visited Disney World if they decide to make these choices. It is not their job to raise my kids with their values. Okay, so the reason that I bring up Disney here is because there is Chris Rufo, who does amazing work over at Manhattan Institute. He was leaked the insider meeting between members of the Disney cast and crew and production and executives on the Florida bill. And the things these people say to each other about how they wish to rip away the innocence of children is astonishing. It's astonishing. They want your kids and they want them bad. That is the message that is coming out of Disney right now. Now, I said to my wife this morning, here's the thing. If you're a parent, it's hard being a parent. If you're a parent and you just want to break for an hour on a Sunday and you're like, okay, you know what? I'll use the TV as the babysitter, and my kids like the music and they like the bright colors, and fine, let them watch Encanto. Right? Encanto's fine. It's a fine movie. I now have to pre-screen every single thing my kid watches or reads. Everything. Because the left has made everything political. It used to be that the least political space was the kids' space. Because after all, who would want to attack the innocence of children? Who would want to insinuate themselves between parents and kids by teaching controversial social values of the left? Who would want, what kind of sick person would do that? Who would want to do that? Well, now, people want to do that. And not only do they want to do it, they're doing it. And so this means I now have to act. I can't just turn on Disney Plus and put on a movie. I mean, for God's sake, I can't even put on an old movie on Disney Plus without having a warning about how Peter Pan is racist or something. But I can't even put on a new movie. I could put on Onward without having to pre-screen to see just how clear the LGBTQ plus IA minus caret sign was going to be. How clear was this going to be? Was I going to have to, am I ready to explain to my 2-year-old what is going on here in terms of the radical social policies of the left? So I have to pre-screen everything. That's a lot of work for parents. It's a lot of work for parents. And Disney knows this, which is why they feel they can get away with it. They believe that parents are so lazy that they're just going to be like, okay, fine. You want to do your radical social values? Well, whatever. I guess I'll deal with it, and you'll just, and they do want to watch Encanto. I mean, that's the idea here. Really, Disney is counting on the laziness of parents to get away with this. They're counting on the laziness of parents to basically say, yeah, we know you're spending multi-million dollars on the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, and I do like the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. So, that means that I will allow my kids to watch whatever Pride Festival film you have decided to jam into their little brains. I think they're underestimating parents by a pretty long shot, because it turns out that for the vast majority of parents, this is my number one priority in life, is protecting my kids. Number one, with a bullet. There is no second priority. This is the only priority to me in the end. And if Disney wants to go up against parents, they're making a grave mistake, considering the only people who purchase their product. My kid doesn't have my credit card number. The only person who has my credit card number is me and my wife. Those are the only people. If Disney wants my money, they're going to have to not attack me as a parent. And the reason I say this is because, again, the clips that you're about to listen to and watch here from this meeting, this Disney executive meeting, are astonishing. So here is Disney executive producer LaToya Raveneau. It is an executive producer, LaToya Raveneau. And this person is about to tell you that she has leveraged what she calls her not-so-secret gay agenda into children's television. Not-so-secret gay agenda. Just right out there. I have a question. Why do you have an agenda with regard to kids? Why? Is this your job? It makes these people feel good about themselves. It's about them. It's about what it makes them feel inside. If I can indoctrinate kids into the belief that all sexual lifestyles are morally equivalent, then I have struck a blow for utopia. And I'm going to take advantage of the most powerful entertainment company on the face of the planet, Walt Disney, in order to do this. And I know that my higher-ups agree with me politically, and so they will do that. So they're taking advantage of their shareholders, they're taking advantage of their consumers, all to leverage in their own politics. It's disgusting. Here we go.
All that momentum that I felt, that sense of I don't have to be afraid to let's have these two characters kiss. Let's in the background. I was just wherever I could, just basically adding queerness to if you see anything queer in the show, I'm proud of them. But I just was no one would stop me.
Just add in queerness wherever she could. By the way, what are the credits for this person? We are talking about shows directed at small children. We are talking about the series Puppy Dog Pals from 2017, 2018. We are talking about the series Final Space from 2019. We are talking about Super Monsters, Monster Pets from 2019. Rise Up and Sing Out in 2022. These are animated shows directed at children. And she's leveraging in LGBTQ messaging to children. Are these the people you want raising your kids? Really? How about Disney production coordinator Alan March? He says his team is committed to exploring queer stories for children, of course.
I've had the privilege of working with the Moon Girl team for the last 2 years, and they've been really open to exploring queer stories. And I'm on the production side. Part of the work that I feel like I can put in is making sure that we take place in modern day New York. So making sure that that's like an accurate reflection of New York. So I put together like a tracker of our background characters to make sure that we have like the full breadth of expression.
Very important. Got to put this stuff in. The kids have to see it. It's very, very important. How about the Disney Diversity and Inclusion Manager, Vivian Ware? This person says that Disney has now eliminated at their parks all mentions, you ready for this, of ladies, gentlemen, boys, and girls. Now, as a former Disney annual pass holder when I lived in SoCal, I can say that this was the way that they basically announced pretty much all the parades, for example. You would have a parade down Main Street and it would be ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Now, they're not going to use that anymore. Why? Because, well, you might not be a lady or a gentleman. You might be a third unspecified sex. You might be an alien. You might be, who knows? You could be a pan-fluid, queer-identifying chicken. You could be anything. We don't know. And so we have just decided to go with a generic term, like birthing people, basically. We're just going to go with dreamers of all ages because we wouldn't want to alienate. Here we go.
We no longer say ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We've provided training for all of our cast members in relationship to that. So now they know it's hello everyone or hello friends. We are in the process of changing over those recorded messages. And so many of you are probably familiar when we brought the fireworks back to the Magic Kingdom. We no longer say ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We say dreamers of all ages. And so I love the fact that it's opened up the creativity, the opportunity for our cast members to look at that.
What an opportunity. What an opportunity to not use language describing actual human beings, but to use language so generic that it describes aliens and animals and hello, friends. Hello, that's not the most radical stuff. For the most radical stuff, you have to wait for the Disney corporate president, Carrie Burke. So this person is about to tell you that 50%, she wants 50% of all characters on Disney to be LGBTQIA plus minus divided by sign, percentage sign, /:, or people of color. 50%. And the reason she wants this, most of all, is because she has 2 queer children. Here we go.
I'm here as a mother of 2 queer children, actually, one transgender child and one pansexual child. And also as a leader. One of our execs stood up and said, we only have a handful of queer leads in our content. And I went, what? That can't be true. And I realized, it actually is true. We have many, many, many LGBTQIA characters in our stories, and yet we don't have enough leads.
Remember, this is all just pure biology. It's pure biology. It just happens to be that in Hollywood, an extraordinary, exorbitant number of kids in liberal areas are now identifying as trans and LGBTQIA plus minus and all the rest of it. They must just be biological bottlenecks or something. Or maybe it has to do with the social incentive structure and the values being taught to children. Maybe, as it turns out, I am correct that both children are malleable and sexual behavior is malleable. Maybe these things are malleable. Maybe it has to do with the values that are being taught to kids. Maybe that's the entire point, and they know it, which is why they are putting it in the entertainment. If they didn't believe it made a difference, they wouldn't be putting it in the entertainment. Why alienate a huge base of consumers if you can't change their behavior? The whole point is to change the behavior. The whole point is to indoctrinate entire generations of children. So I have a question. You want these people raising your kids? These ones over here? Is this what you are looking for? This group of people who have decided that it is very important to indoctrinate your kids. This is what you want? So Florida passes this law to prevent this stuff in kindergarten to third grade, and the left goes absolutely nuts, and Disney goes absolutely nuts. And you know what? They've exposed their agenda. Now, at least they're clear about it now. At least they're clear about it now. And so parents are now on alert. So now it's on you, parents. It's on you to decide whether you wish to consume the latest Disney film. I'm not saying you can never watch another Disney film. I'm saying you damned well better pre-screen that film before you show it to your kids. You damned well better decide what you want in your kid's head before you put it in your kid's head, because they have put you on notice. Now, what's amazing about this is that they didn't want to. They didn't want to. They wanted to make a statement, broadly speaking, about how they oppose this bill so they can placate the loudest voices inside their own contingent. That's what they really wanted in the end. That's what they were desiring. However, what they say behind closed doors is the thing. What they say behind closed doors is, we don't oppose this bill because it's a don't say gay bill. We know it's not a don't say gay bill. We oppose this bill because we want to indoctrinate your kids. We oppose this bill because we wish to be the activists who determine what your children think and feel and believe and what the future trajectory of their sexual lives looks like. We wish to do that. That's what they are saying to each other behind closed doors, running the most powerful corporations on planet Earth that mainline entertainment and values directly into the brains of your kids. That's dangerous and is scary. And it should be scary to you. Meanwhile, Ron DeSantis over in Florida, the governor, he makes a pretty obvious point. He says, I've noticed that if there were a bill that banned the discussing of oppression of Uyghurs, Disney would be first on board.
People ask me, kind of about, their posture on the bill. I said, you know what? If we would have put in the bill that you were not allowed to have curriculum that discussed the oppression of the Uyghurs in China, Disney would have endorsed that in a second.
Yeah, I will also point out here that Disney uses Americans because we are more tolerant, because we are more moderate in our social politics and all of this. They actually use us as the social experiment and our kids as the social experiment. You notice that they're not pulling out of Disney Tokyo. Right? They're not doing any of that, even though same-sex marriage, by the way, is still not legal in Japan. Same-sex marriage, okay? Not any of the rest of this, like second order stuff. I've noticed that they are still running cruises, apparently, where homosexuals are banned in places like China, apparently. So, yeah, they push as far as they can or as far as you let them push you. So you could just say no. You could just say no. How's this for a title? Ben Shapiro Show subscriber destroys like button with clicks and logic. I'd watch that. Make it happen, gang.